Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand spanking new episode of MovieKombat. This is episode 2 of season 7, and we are doing Chronicles of Narnia. And this is the second movie, which is the Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian, 2008. This came out during, as we saw with I think Pirates. I think there was a Pirates movie that came out this year. 2008 was a jam-packed movie. We saw that when we were looking at the Marvel ones, because I think The Dark Knight came out this year. I think Iron Man comes out this year. It's just chock full of 2008. Or maybe, did Iron Man come out in 2008? Or was that 2007? No, 2008. 2008. Incredibles. Did The Incredibles come out? No, I thought The Incredibles came out The Incredible Hulk, sorry. I was like, I think Incredibles came out in 2004. Yeah, so this is the sequel, the anticipated sequel to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. This is number 2. And, yeah, this was something interesting. It was kind of, Peter Dinklage shows up, which is really funny in a way, because I kind of watched this one and I'm like, wow, this was really just kid Game of Thrones. Like, there's a lot of betrayal. There's a orphaned prince that is trying to be killed by his uncle, and it's a very traditional, but in its own way, it's its own story of fantasy. It's like you have the prince that's being trying to run away and survive from the evil uncle, that he is hiding the secret that he actually killed his dad and presumably his brother. So it's this whole thing. No nudity. Yeah, I mean it's just Game of Thrones for tweens, I guess I would say the age too. A little more violent, I guess, because of that. But there's some good battle sequences in this movie, and I think it kind of works. There's a lot of things also I felt didn't work. The casting in this movie is not bad. Obviously, you have Warwick Davis, who plays what is it? Like all these names are all very fantasy. But yeah, one of the dwarves in the movie. And so it's like, I don't know, Warwick, to me, great. He's great at doing really any acting skills of from Willow to the Harry Potter movies to what else has he done? There's so many other movies that Warwick's been. But yeah, it's just anytime he's in. Oh, he was in Star Wars too, wasn't he? He was R2-D2? Am I wrong? I knew he played Wicket. I know that. Oh, man. I want to make sure. Yeah, okay. He is marketed as Wicket. So he just played Wicket. Okay. Someone else played R2-D2. So yeah, I mean, Warwick Davis, legend. Acting legend. Peter Dinklage in the movie as well. And then you have the returning kids. You have the returning class, the kids that showed up as Peter, Edmund, Lucy, and Susan. I don't know, man. I felt like when it came to the kid acting, especially when we had Ben Barnes is now playing Prince Caspian, or the new character Prince Caspian, couldn't get on board with Prince Caspian. And I think that I think it set up a lot of stuff, and I think it just really didn't hit its mark based on strictly, I think, the kids. I think they just didn't, like, Edmund had, like, no lines in this movie other than the sassy counterpart to Peter every once in a while, but that dynamic between Peter and Edmund don't really exist anymore because we had to take the eyes off Edmund and then put it on Prince Caspian, and then there was kind of some butting of heads between Peter and Caspian. I couldn't stand Prince Caspian, and then after I watched the rest of the movie, I was like, you know, I kind of felt the same as a kid. Like, I really didn't think he was cool. I just thought he was kind of, I mean, nowadays I would just call him a douche. Like, he smolders way too much into the camera. It's just a lot. It's overacting, and it never comes back to becoming exquisite acting. So it's not great. But I think Georgie Henley, who played Lucy, she did okay. Like, she was probably the best out of the four again. That's kind of how she was in the first one. Because the movie really pushes with Lucy as kind of the front runner of pushing more plot together because it's her kind of zoned in. Whereas Peter and Susan, like, it was weird because, like, Susan was almost starting to be like Prince Caspian's love interest, but they never really like pulled the trigger on that. They just always made it like, oh, will they, won't they? But it's like, it's not a TV series where we can string this out for 7 to 8 episodes. Like, we can't do that, so we have to sum it up. We're either gonna start it or and then not finish it, which is what they did. They were like, we were gonna tease that, and then it's not gonna happen. And I get it. It's probably how it is in the books, so I can't really like destroy the source material because if that's how they did it, then that's how they did it. But I also felt like the chemistry between Susan and Prince Caspian is not there either. So sucked compared to the last movie of Anna Popwell. Yeah, that's kind of yeah. I think it really kind of was that. I think a lot of the kids just didn't really have the lines that I felt could have made them better. It's almost like they wanted the acting to speak for itself in some certain situations. I don't know. It just there was a lot of forgettable dialogue because as we kind of like were moving through the plot, things made sense of why we were getting from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, but it was almost like a checklist where it's like, okay, we come across here's the intro plot to Prince Caspian needs to run away because a baby is born, and that baby is to his evil uncle who killed his dad, but we don't know about that. But we do know about that because that's how this story goes. And then Prince Caspian's got to run away, and that all happens. There's 20 minutes of the movie. It's like that's the first like 15, 20 minutes of the movie. And then we got to get the kids back. How do we get the kids back? Oh, have him blow the horn when they're all coming back. And it just felt like very rushed of like, okay, this happened in the book, this happened in the book, this happened in the book. How are we going to do that in this movie? Okay, let's do that here and then that there and then that works there and that works there. The movie, to be fair, I think is over 2 hours long. So I think it's a pretty long movie. 2.5 hours. It almost hit that 3-hour mark. So it is a lot, but as we've seen in the MovieKombat shows, that there are ways to get your story across in that time frame that doesn't feel like a checklist. You know what I mean? And I know that this is definitely a different situation because when it comes to our last couple of seasons, season before this was Pirates of the Caribbean, which doesn't have a source material other than a 10-minute long amusement park ride. The season before that was the what was that one? Was that the superhero one? Yes, that was superheroes. I mean, that one source material is just this is what happens in the comics, and you could do whatever you really want. So a lot of freedom there. And then the one before that was all these holiday movies, which were original, usual content. So it's this one is kind of that thing of where it's like, they're basing it off of a book series. So what are we going to do to come across as palatable, I guess? And I don't think they did that right. So with that said, it just kind of, I think when it, let's see here. Yeah, when it comes to how the story goes, I think Preacher hits it was it just kind of fell flat. Like I feel like they had potential, but they just didn't, and they wanted to really focus on Peter in this one for sure. They really wanted to focus on Peter, and as kind of out of the four kids, this is the one that's gonna like have a lot more dialogue than any of the others. But even then, it almost feels like he really didn't have a lot, but he did. And then like Caspian delivers lines well, but it's just like he just comes off very mid 2000s, supposed to be the teen heartthrob sort of thing, like Orlando Bloom in that era, where it was kind of like you were just there for the women to kind of look at you and not really act. That's kind of how he felt, and I feel like that's kind of what it was. Funny enough, I was searching Chronicles of Narnia Prince Caspian, and one of the things that kept popping up was, I guess, and I don't know, I'd be curious if we find something about this in the IMDb corner, but this was just interesting. Andrew Garfield apparently was a possibility of playing Prince Caspian, which I was like, we could have had Spider-Man in the Chronicles of Narnia, but we didn't, and we got this guy. So there's that. Anyway, so let's head over to the... Oh, actually, so there are things that I was trying to keep track of as we watch this movie. Kind of keeps my attention to movies that I've seen several times. One of those is how many times is Narnia said? How many times is Narnia said? Now, I counted Narnia, and I've also counted, pretty sure he was too busy with Spider-Man. Spider-Man wasn't out yet. Was Spider-Man? No, I thought that was 2012. Was that Amazing Spider-Man? Yeah, 2012. That movie was not out yet. He would have been fine. He could have did it. Now, the real question is, if he would have done it, would he not have been Spider-Man? That's the real thing. Because there was a third movie, and I don't know when Voyage of the Dawn Treader came out. So, but yeah, 2008, he could have did it. So, and they probably would have made it work. It's a whole different timeline. I know. Can you imagine where we would be? I feel like that would have made this movie like a whole bunch, like so much better. But anyway, regardless. So yeah, how many times is Narnia said in Prince Caspian? I counted Narnia and Narnians because that was a new term. Narnians was said a couple times. And I counted 20 times Narnia was said, including Narnians. I would probably take away maybe like 5 or 6 of those to remove Narnians. So I mean, with a movie, it's called Narnia, like Chronicles of Narnia. It doesn't say it very often in a 2.5 hour long span. Sword fights counted 3 sword fights. There's actually a very big major one towards the final act of the movie. And then when did we enter Narnia? I didn't quite know when to clock this one in at. I just said 50 seconds. It's a little before, but it's a matter of like when you want to say we're actually in the movie. And I figured that was around when we were mainly 100% in the movie. Because the movie starts immediately in Narnia. So 50 seconds is where we clock that one in at. Okay. The next. Let's go into IMDb Corner and take a look at some of the cool, maybe interesting trivia that we did not know. One thing that I like to take a look at is taglines. Taglines are the little phrase that gets put on the poster. So you would see this poster in like Regal or AMC or whatever, and then there would be like a little phrase to sell that movie to you. So we have quite a few actually, and the way I like to do these is based on if it sells you the movie, tells you all that you need to know, and gets you hyped for it. So let's see how we go. So number one is a new age has begun. All right, I feel like 2008, everyone has pretty much seen Chronicles of Narnia, so The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So this, it's kind of something. It's a new age. It's begun. It's in the Narnia universe. We can kind of figure that. Everything you know is about to change forever. Okay, that one really doesn't. I don't even think that even follows what the freaking movie's about. Next one is Unmask the New Evil. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That one's okay. I guess the masking would be the uncle. That one's not really that good. Hope has a new face. Okay. Chronicles of Narnia. We know it. Prince Caspian. Kind of sells it. He's supposed to be a good guy, apparently. Everything is about to change is the, I guess, Australia theatrical release. So I would say a new age has begun is probably the best one, just because it's like everyone saw Chronicles of Narnia. There's the tagline. There's the advertisement. And if especially this poster, you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah. All right. Next, let's move on into some trivia. If it wants to work. Okay. Tilda Swinton, who played the White Witch, as well as reprising her role as the White Witch, also makes a short cameo as a creature. Okay. I mean, she didn't need to do that, but she did. That's kind of cool. She did that. Okay. During the storming of Miraz's castle, Rippenkeep's mice find the royal cat asleep. They tie him down in the same way that Aslan was tied in the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The mice nod through Aslan's ropes in that story, and Aslan granted the species the power of speech to honor their devotion on that day. What? What a callback! I did. All right, I guess that's kind of cool. So like that's like the ancestors that helped Aslan. He granted those mice the ability to do that, to be bipedal and by have a voice and all that stuff. And then the descendants of them were that. So I would never even connect the dots there. Peter Dinklage's prosthetics took 3 hours to apply on the first day of filming. He also had to contend with being bitten by sandflies and falling into a river. Producer Mark Johnson joked that they were lucky that Dinklage returned after the first day, I'd say. Especially with his attitude now. He wouldn't fucking show back up. According to Gander... Keenis, who is Edmund, for one shot where he had to slide off a roof, he had $500,000 of camera strapped to his leg, as they could not get any stuntman the same size as Edmund to shoot the shot. That's crazy. What if he would have got hurt? He's a kid still. Anna Popplewell, the girl who plays Susan, was disappointed that Susan did not get to use her bow much in the first film. When she mentioned it to the director, Andrew Adamson, this film script was altered to add more scenes of her using it. Well, yeah, she really did use it in this one. Okay. Came out May 16th, 2008. pretty close. Pretty close. Not 20 years yet, but it's getting there. They had a budget of $225 million estimated. Opening weekend, they made $55 million. Gross U.S. and Canada was $141.6 million. Gross worldwide, $419.7 million was how much they made on that. So, they did make their money back, but it definitely wasn't as big of a shot as the Chronicles of Narnia: The Lion, the Witch, and Wardrobe, because I think that one made a lot. $745 million with $180 million. So, yeah, that's a pretty big margin there compared to the second one where they kind of just double their money. Still good, not bad. It just, can't do it all. They feel like they didn't want to do this movie. That'd be kind of interesting. Maybe some of them didn't. Yeah. Was there not that much with trivia? No, there's quite a few for there. Yeah. All right. Well, that's gonna do it for IMDb Corner. So let's think about it. What are we thinking as a review wise? And when we look at our reviews, this is what we base our reviews on. This is the Primal Target official review scale. And last movie, remember, most of these are, the way I like to do the seasons is I compare them to their previous. They're supposed to be fighting against themselves. The season fights within itself. So The Lion, the Witch, and Wardrobe, I gave a 7.8, which is a worthy, close to marvelous movie, but a worthy of, like, most people are probably going to own The Lion, the Witch, and Wardrobe. Prince Caspian, I think it's in the borrow territory, honestly. I think it's really in the borrow territory. I don't think it's really that great. I think there are great things that happen in it. Like I said, I think the fight sequence was pretty good. I don't think it's as good as the first one. The story, like evil bad guy sort of situation, it's very fantasy. So it does do a good job doing a fantasy sort of like theming show. Again, if you watched this movie and then like as an adult started watching Game of Thrones, you could easily be like swayed into liking it because you used to like this movie particularly. Does it stand on its own? I think it kind of does, because it's really so far into the future with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe that, like, it's 1,000 years, I think, is what they say. And it's enough to really kind of just be like a good reset. So if you didn't watch the first one, you probably don't need to watch the first one to watch this movie. It does help with a little bit of backstory to the kids of why they can even go to this world and why they're in our world and this and that. But it really doesn't explain them too much, which also is kind of a good thing, because as a sequel, you don't want to like rely on the first film too much, and you also don't want to repeat so much stuff that you like. People that have already seen the first movie are going to be like, I already know who these people are. I don't know. I don't care. And the only returning character that's a part of Narnia is Aslan, so you really don't even have to know anybody there. So I don't know. I think it's worth a borrow, like, rent it on Netflix and maybe ask a friend for it if someone, whatever. And if someone asks, you'd probably about 90% of the time say like, yeah, go ahead and watch it. It's not terrible. It's not a bad movie, in my opinion. I gave it a 6.6 out of 10. I gave it a borrow, little above middle, but I would say it's worth watching maybe once, and that's never owning really. Preacher gave it a 4.8, which he's the only one of the PT Nation that's currently here right now. So that is a 4.8 out of 10 from the PT Nation, and that's the official review, because he's the only one here. So that's how things work here. If you're not here for the recording here on twitch.tv/primal_target, then one person could sway the entire vote and knock the whole tower down. So just be aware of that. If you want to watch, Fresh sneaks in the 6. There it is, 6. All right, let's see. We got to do actual math here now. So as that's happening, but plus 6 divided by 2. That is a 5.4. So brought it up a little bit. 5.4, which is a meh. And that might be more of a solider review about that. But so my official score, the official Primal Target score, is a 6.6, with the PT Nation score being a 5.5, which for me lands into the borrow category. And for the PT Nation, that lands it in the meh. You might tell people to go watch it, but maybe some people you'd just be like, nah, you wouldn't like it. That's kind of where the mess are. That's going to be it. So, quick and easy episode. Not too much to really talk about, but it's we kind of just blew right by it. But yeah, there was some good things. There was a lot more bad that kind of outweighed the good, but not enough to really, knock it into the fives for me. But yeah. So, the next one that we were going to be watching, the homework for this week that we will be watching next week, is The Chronicles of Narnia, Voyage on the Dawn Treader, which I have never seen, I don't think. I think I only watched the first two. And you're going to notice something a little different because the production is not the same. The first two movies are Disney-produced movies, and then the third one is a Paramount produced movie. So you have a change of studios. It's really interesting that happened. You don't really see that very often. Usually when another studio gets it, they kind of just let it fly, or they'll reset it or let it sit for years and then never do anything with it. So it's kind of interesting that another studio did get their hands on this while at the peak of popularity. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what the Voyage of the Dawn Treader is. And yeah. So if you guys want to watch more, make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube if you're watching into the future. If you're watching this currently live, make sure you click that little heart button and be a part of the PT Nation as we do things. Yeah, that's going to be it for this episode of MovieKombat. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Good night, everybody.